Hey friends, welcome back. My name's Leann Wolff, and I help service-based entrepreneurs build a consistently profitable business by embracing their human design mechanics so that they can experience purpose in their work and in their play. In today's conversation, this is actually an excerpt from my group coaching, Purpose-Driven Wealth Formula. And I'm sharing this here on my YouTube channel for free because we are moving closer and closer and closer to the 2027 shift. Our world that we know it, the energy that we know it right now is breaking down. And the sleeping phoenix is stirring. It is asking us to embrace our own capacity to live in a capitalistic world by embracing our purpose. So today's conversation and the video that you're going to see here is around understanding the mandala, the human design mandala, and allowing you to see how you radiate your purpose, how you ground your purpose. And then you will notice that on my channel, there's going to be a ginormous series of videos just for the Incarnation Cross or life work theme that we consider that in the business world, so that you can truly begin to embrace your purpose, honor your human design mechanics, and earn money consistently through your alignment to your purpose. All right, friends, enjoy the video. We will have a conversation in the comments, and I definitely would just reiterate, I am here to assist you, to take you from where you are now and guide you to where you want to be. All right, have fun, friends.
For abundance really to flow through us, it is important that we're actually radiating our purpose and that we are grounding our purpose. So we are going to walk through and see how this aspect of radiating and grounding our purpose can shine through us and the abundance factor can just flow. So let's take a look at where do we find this on our human design body graph. First, we want to look at the core essence or the sun. 29.1 is mine. So find your personality sun or personality core essence. The personality or conscious earth or grounding and balance. That is on both sides. So we want to look at the unconscious and the conscious, because what this does, what these four indicate to us is this. It indicates to us we call it the Incarnation Cross in human design language, or we also call it the life work theme in the business aspect. So all four of these actually bring us our Incarnation Cross. But what we really focus in on to understand our purpose is the conscious aspect. Well, why? We do that because consciously, our personality base is our personality is really what is incarnating time and 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 time again. Now, all of these aspects might change, but it's actually our personality, we call it the personality crystal, is what actually reincarnates. So that's why we really pay attention to the conscious aspect of it. Now, if that gets too esoteric for you, it's okay. Don't worry. We'll move through this in a way where you can see this play out in your life. So in the human design system, we have this thing called the mandala. And we bring that mandala out when we begin to look at these higher level of aspects of who and what we are. So we're going to walk through what we call the quarters of the wheel. And the quarters of the wheel are broken down so that we can begin to see how our purpose is designed to radiate from us, and then how we actually ground that purpose in our work that we are doing. So there are 4 quarters to the wheel. The first quarter is the quarter of initiation. This is the mind, the conscious aspect. Then we have the quarter of civilization, which is all about form and the physicality of our world. And then we go into duality where, hey, we're not in this alone, we're in this together. And then we go into the quarter of mutation. And this is where we really accept that we are going to die. So the importance of all of this is that there's a cycle. There's a cycle to everything. There's a cycle to your business. There's a cycle to your life. There's a cycle to all kinds of different things. But we operate in a cyclical spiral movement through time-space. So what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to initiate. Thoughts become things. We initiate civilization through duality, bonding, and then mutating until we die. That's really what we do. So let's just take a look at the brief understanding of this so that you can begin to ground yourself in how your purpose is radiating out to the world. So we have this quarter of initiation. So if you have your personality or your conscious sun in any one of these 16 gates, the importance here is that it is all about consciousness for you. What does that mean? So the purpose for you is only going to be fulfilled when you achieve clarity on the mental plane. That is why it is so important for us to begin to experiment with our decision-making strategy. Because that decision-making strategy can help clear up the clutter of the mind. Because the mental plane, our minds were never designed to make a decision. The minute we put a decision up there, it's battling it around. It's going from this side to that side, this, that. Our minds are actually designed to take the quantum reality, the this and the that, and to collapse it in front of us. And the moment that we take decision-making away, then all of that creation can happen right at our fingertips. So it's important to achieve clarity on the mental plane. Don't use the mind for decision-making. Have it clean, have it crisp. And what happens through you guys that are in this particular quarter, when we're looking at the sun right now, what happens is that you radiate this mental clarity when you're operating through that strategy and the authority, that decision-making strategy of your human design body graph. So in other words, what's going to happen is that you'll be able to recognize and have a sense of what you're here to do because the mind no longer is cluttered. Now, maybe you might be saying, well, isn't that for everybody? Yeah, we're all designed to have mental clarity. But these particular beings that have the sun over in this aspect, any one of these 16 gates, you radiate either mental clarity or zero mental clarity. And you want to be radiating that mental clarity so that you can bring your purpose out. And of course, we're going to go through every one of these and walk through a video for each one of these 64 different aspects and the purpose that's behind there. So begin to just recognize that mental clarity for you and the beauty of your mind is so important when you have this as your sun. Now, what if you have it as your earth? Well, you're grounding on the mental plane. So you're here to ground your work consciously. So I actually have my earth over here. I have it in the 30, in fates. So I ground my consciousness. I ground consciousness in all of my teaching. I bring the consciousness field into every aspect of my teaching because I have to ground my teaching there. I have to ground my coaching in the consciousness field. So I just knew the moment that human design bumped into me, I knew that there was something there. It wasn't the correct teacher that had bumped into me with the information. So once I found the correct teacher, which was Ra himself, the original creator of this, all of a sudden, I could recognize, I knew that there was something bigger than astrology because I was dabbling in astrology, but I didn't love it. There was something there. So once I saw this, I could go, oh, okay, it's the consciousness field that I need to ground my teaching in. So if you have this in your sun, you are radiating the mental clarity. If you have this in your earth, you are grounding your product or service into the consciousness field. Okay? Now, if we look at civilization and something that you're going to learn when we walk through the communication aspect is all about the throat communication and the deeper levels of the throat communication. But what this second quarter does is your purpose will be fulfilled through form. Well, what does that mean? That there's going to be things that are built on patterns that already exist. So civilization, where everything is about concretizing the form. It is the materialism. This is about the metamorphosis of thoughts from the first quarter into things. However, I want you to recognize that most of the thoughts that are happening on this planet, we're pushing ideas and things and concepts that aren't designed for our particular purpose. We want to be recognizing those beautiful Satori moments, that awesome idea, or these concepts and patterns that we can organize in our minds. We want to be able to see that and then just wait for the strategy and authority to catapult that information into form. So if form is a part of your sun, you are actually designed to build, to have form fulfill your purpose. So maybe it is you walked into a church and you were totally metamorphosized by walking into that church. And then all of a sudden, from that day forward, that metamorphosis, that fulfillment of purpose that came through that church allows you to then go ahead and maybe you recruit for the church or you build more churches. There's something that happens with the form that brings you to your purpose. These are where we get our sculptors, our architects, people that want to really touch the material plane and metamorphosize it and create something out of it. You know, this is really where you will be designed to make money. Now, if this is your earth, if this is how you ground your purpose, you're going to ground it in form. So I would not be the least bit surprised if a lot of your business was around creating a form. Or maybe it's a journal that you ship out to your clients, or it's a product that your clients are touching. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if what you ground it in some kind of form. Purpose fulfilled through form, if it is your sun, you're radiating out. So you're creating that sculpture, that you're creating a building, you're creating some kind of form. But when you're grounding it in that form, that product goes out to other people. That's how I see this. Where you may not particularly be the creator of it, but you ground it into that form. Quarter 3 is all about duality and bonding. So like Ross says, you build the house and the church and the school in our last quarter when we looked at form, and now you've got to fill it up. How do we fill it up? Children. We create more children. We have a duality, a bonding aspect of our humanness. And when we fulfill our purpose through here, this is about having relationships that enhance our lives, or that we enhance other people's lives through our relationships. So this is not only about the procreation of more people, but this is about bonding in a way that allows people to discover themselves and be able to quote unquote let go of anything that's holding them back, or to hold on to that perfect being that is designed to be in their life. So this is my sun. So I don't have tons and tons of relationships, but the relationships that I have to be of quality. And I have to be able to have my individuality in it. So I fulfill my purpose through those correct bonds. And then I ground that purpose, that bonding purpose, in the consciousness field. And that's what my whole entire business is built around. Creating relationships through content. And then grounding that teaching in the consciousness field. That's really what I do. So if you have your sun here, you're going to you're going to radiate your relationships, and then you're going to ground them in the consciousness field. Now, if this is your earth, you're going to ground the bonding. So it's about bringing that consciousness field, and you bring it down and you embody that consciousness field. So you will ground it through health and wellness and taking care of the body. When the consciousness field is your radiation and this is your grounding, you ground it into the body. And then when we have purpose fulfilled through transformation, this is our last quarter. This is our mutative quarter. So here really is transformation. So thoughts became things that became more of in the duality. And now it's about really relaxing in and knowing that when we have a full, fulfilled life, we no longer have to be scared of death. And of course, our fullness of life really is the fullness of life that comes from having a sense of purpose. So transforming our belief system around death. We're mutating every second of the day, every millisecond. We have some kind of cellular mutation happening in our physical bodies. We don't even have to think about. The world is mutating second by millisecond. So it's about accepting the mutative energy, honoring the transformation, and you get to radiate that out to people. So what I love is the grounding aspect of this. When we ground our form, concretizing the form, right? Because that's where our sun would be. And then we ground it into transformation. Like to bring a transformational form to our world. Like, let's just say, the painting on the Sistine Chapel. Like, even though I've never witnessed it with my own eyeballs, to see images of it and to think, like, to be that artist and to be up there and to create that image. He was taking form and he grounded it in transformation. People see that. I see that, and I transform. There's a mutation that happens deep inside of me with the awe of all of that. I look at like even Mount Rushmore and I'm like, wow, they took form. And just to witness that, there's a transformation that happens. They grounded it in transformation. And that, my friends, when we can utilize our purpose in that way, when we know what we're designed to radiate, and then how to ground it. So I see many people that are death or birth, actually, doulas, that have their purpose fulfilled through this transformation. Because they're helping people with that transformative point in their life. And then they get to ground it in the form. So maybe it is, that birth midwife that helps that transformation, and they bring a birthing tub that's form to help the transformation radiate into the world. So these are the kind of things that we're going to play around in the coaching, in the weekly coaching aspect, because I believe that when we can really put this into our cellular structure, we can then know that we don't need to chase anything. It happens through us. That's why we see such an explosion of different roles in this life, different jobs, different things taking place. Because there's 8 billion people now. So there's lots of purposes shining and radiating and grounding in our world. All right, I'm going to leave you there. It's fun. It's fun to play around with. It's fun to see it. And talk to you in the coaching, friends.
Hey, friend, are you loving the content on my YouTube channel? If so, just imagine this. If you and I worked one-on-one intensively to go through your design and intentionally build your service-based business, just imagine where you could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 365 days from now. What do you desire? Get really clear on that. What do you want your life to look like? Are you ready and willing to truly embrace your purpose? These are the questions that you must ask yourself so that next year, when you look back, you will need a telescope to see where you actually were. And start today by saying thank you to yourself providing gratitude to yourself that you actually took the steps to get in and create the business that is absolutely right in your human design mechanics. Below in the description, you have everything there that you need to connect with me and take your world, your life, and live your purpose. All right, friends, talk to you later.